Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hansa Travels. Today I am bringing you another video of my edition of everything you've ever wanted to know about an airline, and today I'm going to be speaking about Frontier Airlines. So I do have my trusty little a notebook. This is the 2019 edition. I went online and I looked up the actual union contract that the flight attendants have, and so all the information that I have in here is information that I gathered from the internet out of the actual contract with the AFA union that they have. And so but things change all the time, so if you know of any difference from what I'm going to tell you right now, make sure you leave it in the comments down below and let everybody know if I am mistaken in anything that I am going to tell you. Put it down there, especially if you work for them or if you have actually worked for them. So do that. I always like to start out my videos by saying that I am not a representative, nor do I work for Frontier Airlines. This is just pure research that I have done on my own, and all the information, like I said, is from their contracts. So without further ado, I do want to give a shout out before I get started. Let me pull it up right here. Okay, so thank you to Bridget Murphy, who actually reminded me that I haven't done one of these videos in a while. If you want to take a look, I have already done all of the major legacy carriers in the U.S., and I will link that playlist down below if you are interested in working for any of the airlines. It's really good to know what you're getting into before you apply to an airline, just in case it's something that perhaps may not be the right company for you. So thank you to Bridget again, and without further ado, let's get started. I also want to mention that I did look online, and as of March 19, 2019, there was a contract, or I guess renegotiation with Frontier, which is giving them an average of 24% pay increase to the flight attendant. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to take effect, if it already takes effect. I know that a lot of times with union contracts, even when new laws are passed, there's usually a time between the time the new contract is signed and they start actually doing it. Like, I'm not sure exactly when this one is going to take effect, but obviously they won a major battle for their wages. So congratulations to everybody working at Frontier. So first of all, you are going to need your high school diploma or your GED. You also have to be 20 years old or more. A lot of airlines require you to be 21 because you are serving alcohol in the air. So this one only says 20, so good for you. You also have to be legal to work in the U.S. You have to have a visa. You have to have a valid passport, and your passport cannot expire within the next 6 months. So if your passports are usually issued for a 10-year period, so if you are getting to that 10-year mark and you need to renew, it is better to renew now, because unless you do an expedited passport, which costs a lot of money, you can get your paperwork ready, so when they call you, you will have that on hand. And very, very, very important, guys, they do have a tattoo clause as far as their requirements. Very important. So listen to this. I'm going to read it verbatim, okay, because this is on their website, and I believe they're very serious about the tattoo situation. So flight attendants are not allowed to have any visible tattoos while wearing the uniform, even if it is covered by makeup or your clothing or jewelry or any bandages. So if you have any tattoos that need to be covered because they would show while in uniform, don't even bother applying because they will not hire you. So do keep that in mind. I know almost, you know, the world now, everybody has a tattoo. So unless it is somewhere hidden, like inside your body, where out, you know, that you couldn't see with your uniform, then yeah, don't even bother applying because they're just gonna let you go as soon as they see your tattoo. Yeah. And of course, something very, very important is you must be willing to relocate wherever they need you. So, having said that, let me tell you what cities you may be relocated to if you work for Frontier. Of course, you have Denver, Colorado, which is their main hub. There's also Las Vegas, Nevada, Orlando, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, and Trenton/Philadelphia area. So it looks like they have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 different bases that you could be relocated to, and these are it. So do keep in mind that most companies give you like an option, or like they want to know like a list from 1 to 3, your top 3 choices where you would like to be based. They normally will try to put you wherever you want, but sometimes when a base is very depleted and they need flight attendants for a specific base, it may not be the base of your choice, so you will have to go somewhere else. But the good thing is that most airlines allow you to ask for a transfer. Usually within the first 6 months to a year, you will be able to transfer to your, you know, desired location. Now, for the pay, I will put a schematic up here of the information that I found online. Starting pay is $19.52. I'm not 100% sure if this is already with the raise that they just got in March, or if this is before the raise. So keep that in mind. Start off at $19.52, and you can top off at $37.21 within 13 years time. So that's how long it would take you, 13 years to get from the 19 to 37. Also, per diem is paid at $1.85 an hour. Per diem is paid from the moment you check into your base and you leave on a trip, and by the time you return several days later, however long, you're getting paid $1.85 every hour on the hour. So 24 hours a day, you're getting that amount, you know, until you return back home. So the longer you are away from home, the more money you can make. Now, as a reserve flight attendant, the company guarantees you 75 hours, flight hours per month. Now, if you take the $19.52 that you start off with, and you divide that, well, for the whole month, the 75 hours that you are guaranteed, you would make a salary of $1,464, $1,464 for the entire month. That's if you don't fly more than 75 hours, that's the minimum that you will get paid. They get paid twice a month. You get paid on the 5th, and you also get paid on the 20th of each month. And that your hours are divided half and half. So your small check, which is the one on the 5th of the month, you will get paid for 37.5 hours. For the paycheck that you get paid on the 20th will be the other 37.5 hours, plus anything extra that you may have, any extra flying that you may have done for that month. So that's your big check. Also, another way that you can make some extra money is if you fly more than 86 hours a month, you will then start earning time and a half, which will make you $29.28 per hour once you hit that time and a half. So that's pretty good, guys. Now, if your flight happens to cancel the day before you're scheduled to fly out by 6 p.m. the day before, then more than likely you will get reassigned and sent to a different, on a different pairing. But if the flight happens to cancel after the day before, after 6 p.m., then you are getting pay protected. Yep, you will actually get paid for that flight. So in order to be pay protected, the flight has to cancel after 6 p.m. the day before or later. Okay? Now, as most major airlines, they offer all of the benefits that pretty much everybody does. So that would be medical, dental, vision, also 401k for your retirement. Now, a lot of you want to know if they pay during training, and I was not able to find anything in their contract as far as training. They do pay for your training when you are going through your recurrent, which is your yearly recertification that you have to go through. Every year we have to recertify and make sure that we still know what we're doing. And for that, they will pay you for half your time. So let's say you spend the entire day in training, an 8-hour day, you will get 4 hours of flight time during that training. But for your initial training to become a flight attendant for that company, it doesn't specify, and there's I didn't see anything either as far as like a per diem. Some companies will not give you a salary, but they will at least give you some money to cover your miscellaneous and any food for the day. So if you work there, if you have worked there before in the past, and you know if they do pay you at least a per diem during training, make sure you leave it in the comments down below. I'll pin it so everybody can see that. Now, you will get paid your holiday pay. Frontier recognizes Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day. Now, for that, if you work any of those holidays, you will get paid time and a half. Now, and also, if you are already at over 86 hours for the month, you will now get, instead of time and a half for, that flight, you will now get paid double time. So that's, another way to make a little bit of extra money. They also recognize some other holidays, which are New Year's, Independence Day, Labor Day, or the day after Thanksgiving. You also, for that, if you work those particular holidays, you will get 2 round trip tickets or buddy passes for you to give to somebody. So, and then the buddy passes are good for a year. And last but not least, the other way that you can get paid any extra money is when you deadhead. Now, deadheading is when you are on a plane in uniform, but you're not technically working the flight. You're sitting in an actual seat. For the deadhead in Frontier, you get paid half your pay. So let's say it's a 2-hour flight, you will only get paid for 1 hour. So you only get paid half. But you're not really working, you're just sitting there like a regular customer. So that's the other way that you can actually get paid at Frontier. As far as how long your days can be working at Frontier, they have a 14-hour maximum day that you can be scheduled. But again, when things happen and it's beyond the company's control, they can extend you up to 16 hours of duty per shift. So you could work up to 14 hours a day, but no more than 16 hours for the entire day. Now, when you start out, you'll be a reserve flight attendant. Reserve flight attendants get 11 days off guaranteed every single month, so you will have 11 days. It didn't specify if they're going to be like, little chunks at a time. So it could be random. I know, for example, my company guarantees you 4 days in a row, at least twice a month. So that's 4 and 4, that's 8. And then the other ones, you know, are sprinkled in between there. If you are a line holder, then you are guaranteed 10 days off every single month. Now, as a reserve flight attendant, you could be working any red eyes. You could also be on airport standby. Airport standby is when you are scheduled to be at the airport. I'm sure it's going to be in a crew room where you're going to be waiting, and if somebody calls out at the last minute or if something happens and they need you, you are already there, you're in uniform, and you are ready to go. There are 4 different standby shifts at the airport, and they are like the morning shift, midday shift, PM shift, and night shift. It doesn't specify what hours to what hours, so I'm guessing they vary, but you could do anywhere between 6 to 8 hours of standby at the airport. And for the airport standby, you are paid 1 hour for every 2 hours that you're there. So if you are at the airport for 6 hours waiting and they don't use you, you will get a credit of 3 hours of flight time that you'll have. So keep that in mind. You get paid for half the time, kind of like deadheading. Now, as far as the uniform, if you are hired, you are required to purchase your uniform pieces the very first year that you're with a company, and every year after that the company will give you an allowance of $150 every single year for you to purchase new uniform pieces. Now, do keep in mind that if you happen to leave the company during that first year, if you haven't paid off your uniform, it will they will still take it out of your pay. So let's say you bought all these uniforms and you still owe like $300 worth of uniform payments, which they actually will take, I think, $25 out of each paycheck, so twice a month. So let's say you still have a balance of $300 that you owe. Those uniforms, they're yours, so the company will take at least, you know, the remaining balance out of your last pay. So remember, if you switch from one company to another, you will still have to continue and finish paying off for your uniforms. So that is it, guys. That is all I have for you today. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. Remember, all this information I have gathered directly from their union contract. So make sure you leave any comments if you know if anything has changed since the time I have put out this video. This is the 2019 edition of everything you've ever wanted to know about Frontier Airlines. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye.